Hello everyone, today we are at the Australian War Memorial here in Canberra, and I have been so quiet lately because they were in the previous caption was in like a small chamber to remember those who lost their life, and yeah, I didn't want to disturb the peace. I was quiet. I took video, of course in a mute scene. Also, I have muted my camera, so I was really respectful. And then, as you can see behind me, I don't know if you can see, but it is the Anzac parade. Yeah, and then this section is like all about remembering the ones who lost their life during wars. Yeah, so this is a bit, like I would say, a bit like sad part, but it will be more interesting. So that's why I haven't really took too much video here, because because I think it will be really disrespectful to actually disturb others. So, but this is actually a really good place. I don't disturb anyone, so yeah. But other parts I will be taking more videos. So as you can see, these are the places where the Australian forces have been like the Australian army went and was in war. So from Greece to Britain to Mediterranean to Europe to Palestine to North France to New Guinea, Singapore, Malaysia, Burma, and Syria. This is actually like a small fountain, which at the moment doesn't work. And as you can see, even East Timor, Solomon Islands, Iraq, and Afghanistan. So yeah, so they were fighting in a lot of countries, places. So these are real pictures from Afghanistan mostly. Yeah, and this whole part is full of like real images from 2011. Yeah, I mean until from like 2000s, early 2000s. Yeah, so there are some like remembrance who have lost their life during this period. You can see a lot. And some more pictures which are real pictures from the Australian forces. As you can see, yes, so as you can see, a lot of pictures, and these are all from Afghanistan, as I can see. So this is a map where they have been fought in Afghanistan during the 2001, 2021 war in Afghanistan. Yeah, so this is just war in Afghanistan. And then later on we will be actually hitting every part of it. So there are some really cool ideas. The this is like a model of the long pine. As you can see, the trench, the army men, the armies, and the background. Yeah, they wanted to recreate the rural scene. So we have some German history as well as the 1884, when the German Pacific colonies, including Papua New Guinea nowadays, it was called back the German New Guinea, was also seized by Germany, and Australians came and fought against Germany to so that Austria can actually eliminate Germany from this area, from the Pacifics. So this sector is all about the ships, the Sydney ships, the Sydney ship. Which have been sent to war, as well as not just the army men. Yes, in 1910s, Australia have decided that they need ships as well as other Western countries. So their first ship was the Sydney, which is this one. If I'm not true, then I don't want any hate comment, because I might not be true in everything, but what I have heard and read is true. It's 1915 when the Australians arrived to Gallipoli, Turkish Gallipoli, and then as you can see in the map, yeah, because it was 1950, Austria and Hungary were united as a monarchy. Yeah, and as you can see, the European borders in the Balkan area looked a bit different than nowadays. Yeah, so these are how the people lived, the army lived during the Anzac, as what they call here. This is when the Austrians went to Gallipoli. And as you can see, they had little brush or a broom, some cans, chess, crackers, can of apricot, a mug, maybe a jug, but it is nowadays like it is broken, and some other like bullets maybe. Then these fences, and then the signs, guns. Even a camera. Yeah, and then how they carried these with themselves. Another maquette here in the model at the trench at Pazier. And then some other guns from 1960s, 50s, during the First World War. And then masks, some German writings. Yes, these are some personal, like when they were off duty, they had cigarettes, cigars, safety matches, And I'm wishing you a happy Christmas from the Australian. Comforts funds, greetings from Australia. Yeah, some really cool stuff. As well as they had some spoons, a souvenir, some instruments, even dominoes, so that they could actually play when they were not on duty. Yeah, another one in Bulle Kart, the fourth Australian division went here and fought. Yeah, they're actually really cool models. You can see their guns, their hats. The reminder of their hats. So there were times when first aid needed. So you can see all of the equipment. And then there is even a train. If the soldiers needed to be escorted to the nearest hospital. And then they were like first aid posts. So as you can see, there are like radios, the trench line, gun, and even a truck. This is the Semak, which I think nowadays maybe in Israel or the Palestine side, because this era is all about Palestine, but as nowadays it is a lot of area is actually covered by Israel instead of Palestine.
See, look.
Yeah, so you know which part it is at the moment and nowadays.
The free gliding tour will be commencing in a few minutes' time. If you would like to join this tour, please make your way to the commemorative desk now. Please note that the tours are limited to 15 visitors per guide. Thank you.
Yeah, but really cool model. Yeah, so we have arrived to the Second World War. Yeah, so you can see some signs. Yeah, and then they were also fighting in a lot of places from Syria to Greece, even Tobruk. Now these are mostly German-made vehicles. And there was more shed where the Austrians could sleep. Yeah, a bit more like modern in Libya, Greece, Egypt, Libya and Crete. Yeah, they didn't have too much space, but they got a bit more modern equipment, like modern radio, stuff like that. Yeah, the ex-prisoner of war camps in Europe. Yeah, a lot of like prisoner camps mostly in Germany, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Poland, Russia, Italy. Yeah. Yeah, so this is now 1942 when Japanese came and attacked nowadays Malaysia, and then 1942 Singapore has fallen under the Japanese rule. So as you can see, these are like archive images of how the Australians came and their allies. Yeah, a modern telephone nowadays. In 1942, when Japan invaded of New Britain, of Japan on Japanese land, and a lot more like Papua New Guinea, China. So yeah, so they were fighting in a lot of places, especially in the Second World War, because the First World War was mostly in Europe. Second World War almost all over the world, nearby countries, Europe, and their main enemy was Japan. Yes, a little bit of like advertisement to join for the Australian army, because Japanese came, or this is what they advertised, while in Europe or in the US. In the US it was the Nazi Germany came, as well as in Europe. Here it was the Japanese who was in threat. As 1942, both Malaysia and Singapore fall, and then in 1942 Darwin got bombed, which is the capital of Northern Territory.
We had to keep around in the middle of the triangle in a little place. We had to sit before all night. We took it in turn because the rats and that would have torn the body to pieces.
And then, as you can see, all of their people, their personal item, like toothbrush, thread, coins, mahjongs, cricket ball, pipe, knife, razor, and then can you actually imagine that you had to sleep on this? It looks a bit uncomfortable, but it was the Second World War, 1940s. So literally 1 year later than the fights with Japan, they had to come to Europe and fight against the Germans. And then the Italian campaigns, and Malta, and also in Middle East, in the US as well. So yes, a lot of places they were fighting. So 1943, when Singapore had raids again, and then so like Japan attacked Singapore, and then New Guinea, which is actually northern part of Papua New Guinea. And then next one is a bit, so yes, this is Austrian Comfort Funds. Next one is a bit sad again, and mostly in Europe. And when Israel became a country during the Holocaust. Yeah, I will not take too much more videos about it, because Yeah, because these parts of history is like really, really like not the best years, but not the best histories. Yeah, but still, it is a really good part that they acknowledge the Holocaust. So yes, as you can see, all from all over Europe, from Hungary to Poland to Lithuania, Germany most of the time, almost Denmark, Norway, so a lot of countries and cities. Yeah, so this is not the best history ever, but still I say it is a good thing to remember of the Holocaust. Yeah, so this part in 1945, end of Second World War, going closer to the end of Second World War. Mostly like about how they could actually contribute to the ones in New Guinea, Borneo, Europe, and even they could build with a platypus sign, a jeep train in Borneo, British Borneo. Really cool. So we arrived to a newer section, the last known war, the Cold War. And of course, because they were Australia and the US were allies, Australia was also involved in the Korean War, 1940 until 1943, 53, like from 1950 until 1953, when the first North South Korea was attacked. Yeah, so these are all mostly the Korean part. So the Korean War is again another big topic between communism and democracy. As North Korea was backed up by the communist Soviets, while the South Korea was backed up by the UN as well as the US, so democracy. Yeah. And while the US used air forces, napalm, to actually the North Koreans, while the North Koreans, the communist Soviet Union, they were more clever and they used the local people, local soldiers, instead of using the Soviet brutality, I would say. Because Soviet Union had also air forces, but they were more clever to use North Koreans who were actually live there. They know their country more than Soviet Union, so another model. So we have now arrived to 1965, the Vietnam War, with an Australian Air Force helicopter. Yeah, before that they were been fighting in Indonesia, Malaysia, or at that time Malaya. Some playing cards. Qantas 1950. 1970. Yeah, so this is also a bit of like, as said, history for some people, especially US and Vietnam people. But yeah, but we cannot change the history. So as you can see more, hopefully, weapons used in Vietnam and how the Vietnamese were protesting against it. How the US saw that they had to fight against the communist Vietnamese. Yeah, so look at how detailed these people are. Even though they are not real, but look at this, how detailed. Even the greenery. Yeah, really cool. So this was the end of this little tour of the Australian War Memorial here in Canberra. I know some like historical facts that I have showed you. Some of you are a bit not proud of this, like the Holocaust or the Korean War or the Vietnam War, and I agree. I will be saying, I will put a sign at the beginning of my video that there might be some sensitive topic for you, and then behind me is the war memorial, and over here the Mount Ansley, which is the biggest mountain here nearby, and also close to the airport. So on the top there is like a little light to say for the airplanes to take care of. So yeah, so with this big background of the war memorial, I would like to say thank you for joining my video and watching. Yeah, and if you feel, subscribe to my channel. And then in December, I will be recording from a new place for us as well. So take care and bye, guys.